When things happen to people, I ask myself one question: why? When people die, I ask myself one question: why? Why did they die? Why did what happened to people happen to them? What did they not do right? I'm going to share 2 examples with you, and that will help you, that should help you be able to escape your way through things, be able to escape your way through challenges, through things that happen to people and make people die. One example is going to be from the Alchemist book that I read, and one example is going to be by myself. Let me first of all share the example with you. There was this shepherd boy with an alchemist. They were on a journey through the desert for this shepherd boy to find his treasure. During the journey and during their time on the desert, the chieftains and the chiefs in the desert were having a war. Now you couldn't just pass through a desert where there were a battalion of warriors there. You couldn't just pass through them just like that and go your own way. Before you pass through them, they would have to ask you questions upon questions. And if you're not careful, they probably might kill you. They probably might think you are a spy. Now they were able to go through the first squad. And when they got to the second squad automatically took them in and were like, we saw you guys from the other camp and we knew that you guys are spies coming to us. The alchemist just said, he says, no, we are not spies, but we are here and we are passing through on a journey. And this passing through on a journey, the alchemist was trying to convince them, saying that, see, this little boy who is with me, he's an alchemist. And this boy can turn himself into a wind, meaning the wind of the desert, and then scatter the squad, scatter their whole camp. Put sand there, bring sand there as a result of turning himself into a wind, bring sand there, scatter the whole people and all that. What happened was that the captain of the squad didn't believe. The boy himself didn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. Why? Because he doesn't know how he could turn himself into a wind and then blow the whole place apart. He didn't know how he could do that. But the alchemist told the head of the battalion that, give us 3 days. We'll work on this and we'll get back to you. The chief people said, okay. But before they were going to go, the alchemist told the chief in charge of the squad that this guy has treasure, which is gold. So he's going to give them the gold. He gave them the gold. Now, upon doing all of this, the shepherd boy still asked himself questions and asked the alchemist questions. How could I turn myself into a wind or the sand and all that? Questions upon questions. First day had come, second day had come, almost getting to third day. And then the alchemist told the shepherd boy, listen to your heart. When you listen to your heart will tell you what to do, or how to even turn yourself into a sand or into the wind. The shepherd boy had doubts. He had contemplations. He had thought about all the things he could think about, because how could he just turn himself into a wind? Now, on the second day, he went up onto a hill, and was just meditating. And surprisingly, as he was just meditating, he was listening to his heart, speaking to the wind in his heart. Can you imagine? He spoke to the wind in his heart. But do you know that during that time and conversation, the wind didn't interrupt, the sun didn't interrupt, any other thing that could interrupt, that could make them turn themselves into a wind or let the wind blow, didn't interrupt. The second day he went on the mountaintop, which is the third day that he was turning himself into the wind. Whilst he was there, the wind came close, and the wind asked him a question. You've been here already. No, the desert came close, and the desert asked a question. You've been here already. What are you doing this time? And he was speaking to the desert that, he was told that there's a way he could turn himself into the desert and blow the whole camp apart. And then secondly, once he was on that conversation, so he was asking the desert to help him turn himself into the wind and scatter the place. The desert said, he's not the wind. So there's no way he could turn himself into the wind. So he should speak to the wind. And this man was having this conversation in his heart, listening and talking to the wind, the desert in his heart. They went on and went on and went on, and the wind also came. The wind also had this conversation with the boy. And the boy spoke with the wind, they talked and said, all that I need is for you to help me turn myself into a wind and blow the whole camp apart. The wind said he doesn't know how to do that. But the shepherd boy told the wind, the desert, and even the sun came into this conversation. They had a very beautiful conversation. And you know what happened? The boy didn't turn himself into a wind. No, he didn't turn himself into the sun or the sun. But one thing he did was to listen to his heart. And in his heart, listening to his heart, he was able to have conversation with the wind, was able to have conversation with the sun and the desert. Now, during the conversation with the sun, the desert, and the wind and all that, they got furious, and in their fury, they started scattering the whole place with serious sandstorm, serious, more like tornado and all that. At the end of the day, the boy was still able to achieve his goal. The boy had quite some few convincing the sun, the moon, the sun, and then the sun, that's the desert, then the wind. And they were able to help him achieve his result. What I'm trying to say is this. And as a result of helping him achieve his result, though he didn't turn himself into the wind, he was able to blow the whole camp. And the people couldn't even see him. What I'm trying to say is this. Things happen to people because many times they do not listen to their heart. People die many times because they do not listen to their heart. That's what I've learned. People die. Things happen to people because they do not listen to their heart. Now here's the thing. Your conscience, like a writer would say, Kenneth E. Hagin, that is from the book Listening to Your Heart, or how to listen to the Holy Spirit. It says that your conscience is a voice of your spirit, that is your heart. So listen to your heart. If you are going somewhere and your heart pricks you, don't go. Just listen to your heart. Don't go. You're going to do something, and you many times we even say something told me. Listen to that something. That something is not something. That something is a person. That person is the voice of your heart. Listen to your heart. Because when you listen to your heart, you escape yourself from trouble. You escape yourself from calamities. You escape yourself from things that would and should affect you, that should kill you, that would kill you. I believe many people that are not with us today, are not with life and in humanity today, are not with us because one way or the other, something told them something in their heart and they did not listen. The second example is me. Growing up in the spirit, building my spirituality, as of the time I became born again and filled with the Holy Spirit, I started fellowshipping with the Holy Spirit. I started listening to the Holy Spirit in my heart. So what I was doing was that I was listening to my heart. There are several examples I can share with you. But let me tell you one thing that keeps happening to me. Probably, I'll share two examples of what happened to me. In my time with the Holy Spirit, I remember one time I was moving from my house to Circle. Circle is a place a little far away from my house, and it's in Ghana. It's part of, let's say, a town. And on my journey from the house, I was quite late because that day that I was going to Circle, I had to come back early for a meeting. And I was talking to my heart. And in my mind, I was saying, Holy Spirit, I'm going out to Circle and I want to be back by 10 something o'clock just so that I could attend the meeting at 11. And then we're having a conversation, we're on and on and going. When I got to the bus station where I'll pick the bus to where I was going, I heard within my spirit, that is, my heart said, you wait a little bit. I was like, okay, that's fine. And I waited a little bit. In about a minute or two, a bus came. I sat in the bus. Now we're going. We got to a place in Legon. And when we got to a place in Legon, just and the traffic light turned. It was actually red. It was actually turning red. But before it would turn red, we went past the traffic light, it was in yellow. We went past the traffic light. The moment we went past the traffic light, all the traffic lights were green till I got to circle. It is real. It happens. I listened to my heart. I had conversation with my heart. I spoke with my heart. It works. It is real. I went to circle and came back exactly on the time I estimated, and I was able to attend my meeting. Another example. There was one time I was going to cross the road. And when I was going to cross the road, I heard within my heart that don't cross on this car. Wait on cross on the second car. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I came back. Just 2 steps back. Just that 2 steps back. Before I would turn my head like this, the car that my heart instructed me on not to cross on just had an accident just right in front of me. And he had an accident. I listened to my heart and he prevented that. I listened to my heart and I yielded to what could have happened to me. My point is this: things that affect people don't just affect them. And even if the things affect them, it is because they do not listen to their heart. It's because they did not listen to their heart. That is the point I'm closing on. Don't die because you didn't listen to your heart. Listen to your heart and you escape every trouble. Listen to your heart and you escape every calamity. Listen to your heart and you escape what could take your life. I am Victor Shadrach Nate Kwecho and you are watching Kwecho Global. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Share with me your experience as a result of listening to your heart. Maybe. Yep. You talk. When did you wait for me to finish?
I forgot you.
You forgot me.
You've done, sir. My voice is inside.